Happy Thanksgiving 2010 from Rentham, Massachusetts. My name's Dan, Frank behind the camera. We're going to do a little YouTube video here to show you how to properly cook a 12-pound fresh bird in a deep fat fryer with safety #1 concern and tasty #2. So last night, Fred and I decided to marinate this turkey with the brine marinade from Whole Foods. Again, it was a fresh 12-pound bird, so we took out the innards, the gizzard and the liver and all that good stuff like that, and we put the bird overnight outdoors, 30-degree temperature, for a nice bath for about a 12-hour window. Out of this can now has that brine marinade solution with the orange peels and the thyme and the allspice and the bay leaves. The ice cubes are still nice and icy. It was real cold out last night, so this bird stayed at the right temperature, and it's going to be very well marinated and nice and juicy when we deep fat fry it. And one thing you want to do before you measure out your oil is you want to find out how much oil you need when that bird goes in for the first fry. So you want to measure about 2 inches above the bird as it's sitting upright. So we're going to take this bird with the marinade inside. We're going to turn it upright in the apparatus that's going to hold it, fill it up with water, and score the inside to make sure that we know what the oil level has to be before we start that process. So follow me inside, we'll take care of that. Thanks, Fred.
Yep.
I don't want to get... Hey,
how about that bowl?
Yeah. To Freddie and Liz's kitchen, where we are going to hook this bird up on the apparatus in order to measure how much oil we need. But a couple things first I want to mention that we did last night that are not on the video is that in order to prep this bird, what we did is we pulled out, like I said, the gizzards and the neck and everything. They put in there, very important. You want to take this extra skin that's on the top of the neck, and you want to cut that off. It's just going to just fry up and burn. You also want to take the back end of the bird as well and cut that off, because that's going to burn as well. So I'm going to get the utensils, we'll cut this up and prep it, get it ready, then we'll put it back in and measure the water. Alright, welcome back. As I said, we're going to cut the butt off this little guy here. Again, it's a fresh 12-pound bird from Whole Foods.
No, I didn't bring one.
It's got
Sorry.
a nice big butt on there. Get rid of that guy there. Then we're going to take this extra skin, which is just going to go fry off anyway, and you're going to be left with, mush. Might as well use that somewhere else. Now, real important here, you look inside the neck, this cavity isn't very big, and that's going to be your biggest saturation point for your oil when you pull this out. We don't want the oil to be in our bird. We want to make sure we got some exit points for that oil. So we carve that up pretty good like this. And since the bird is going to be deep fried with its legs up like this, we want to put a little slit down under here, a little slit under here. Again, those are points where the oil is going to coagulate. Once you pull it out, it's not going to drain very well. And we'll throw another couple slits back there under the skin. A couple slits here as well. This way we don't get the oil points. You ready? All right, so we're back in action here. So again, we got our bird. This is the way it's going to go in the oil. We've got our bird apparatus here. That's going to we're going to utilize to pull the bird out once it's done. So that's how the bird was marinating on its side overnight, but we can't get a good judge of how much oil we need because it's not going to fry that way. So we put it on the hanger like this. We throw it back in the marinade. Frank, bring that camera over here. As you can see, back in the water, it was laying down at night, so we couldn't get a good measurement of the water. So the water is going to be exactly the height we want the oil. I want to bring the oil up to about this part. So I'm going to go fill this rest of this marinade up with water to get a line on how high I want the oil, and I'm going to score that. Then we're going to dump it out and go to the next step. All right. So what we're doing now is we're filling up this water basin with the cold water. Frank. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill this tank up to the top of the bird to simulate how much oil we're going to need. And then once we've got that, we'll score the top. All right, so what we just did a minute ago is filled up the water level to simulate how much oil we're going to need to cover the top of the bird. Now, once you pull the bird out, you will then know, we noticed a little bit of a problem here. See all the water still stuck in the cavity? That's going to show me exactly what the oil is going to do. So based upon that, it'll be to just cover the top of the bird. What you need to do now is pull the bird out. Whatever water's left, that's where you score it. That's how much oil you're going to need. So once you put the bird in, the oil is going to come up to that same level. If you were to mark it at this point right here, once you pull the bird out, the water would go down. When you put the bird in, your water would overflow. You have a fire. So that's it. Our bird is drained. perfectly. So the water that's left is exactly how much oil we're going to need. So I'm going to mark the tank, or find a marking on the tank. It'll tell me about where I need that oil to be. Well, since I don't see one, I'll just grab myself a little knife, and I'll score it right about here along the lid so I know where it's at. And then I'll go ahead and drain this out, clean it, dry it, put the oil in. We'll be ready to that with a knife, but off camera, I decided a better technique would be to utilize the slider on the temperature thermometer to figure out how much oil I need. So basically, the tip of that thermometer is the length of the turkey I need. Now, if I can get a volunteer from the audience, oh, Fred, there it is, to open up this can of peanut oil, courtesy of Restaurant Depot, and we're going to load that in here, right up to the level of oil that we needed. So whenever you're ready there, Fred, we'll just start putting that pure goodness of peanut oil in there. And again, off camera, I went and I dried this thoroughly. You do not want any water inside the tank. The water is what's going to cause a problem. Now, based upon this, we may need a little extra oil. It's going to be a tight one. Oh, we are on the money. Look at that.
That's it.
We had exactly enough oil to bring it up to the edge. Whew, we got lucky in that one. All right, so next step we're going to do is we're going to torch this puppy up and put the oil on and get it up to 350 degrees temperature. You ready? Covered. You don't want to cover your oil ever. I'm going to bring our thermometer down now into the oil. I'm going to wait till this oil gets up to around 350 degrees. But you want to stay out here the whole time and monitor that, because if your oil gets past 375, 400, it'll turn black and smoke, potential fire. So give us a few minutes. Once it's at temperature, we're going to go back inside, make sure that bird is ready to go nice and dry. I'm going to bring it outside, we're going to dip it into the flame nicely. The oil's heating up out there and it's being watched by one of our faithful children. You want to make sure that this bird is good and dry. Take yourself a bunch of paper towels and just pat it down. Because the more water you've got that goes into that oil when it's hot, the more eruption you're going to have and the potential for a fire. So we're going to pat this bird down nice. We'll get back in a few minutes.
You can look at it. I just looked at it, actually. I looked at it, but
What's all that noise in the background? Could that be all the kids and adults getting ready for Thanksgiving? We've been waiting about 10-15 minutes now for this temperature to get up from pretty much 32 degrees to 350, which is the optimum temperature. Meanwhile, I've been enjoying a nice Sam Adams winter lager while we wait. So in about another 10-15 minutes, this temperature will be at the optimum 350. Then we're going to give our bird a nice hot oil bath. All right, welcome back, YouTube fans. We are at the 350 mark. This is the most important part of deep frying a turkey. You can't have a fire in your deep frying process if you don't have a flame. So what people you see on the internet, all these birds blowing up the whole nine, nobody turned the flame off. What we're going to do right now is kill the flame on the bottom. And Frank is going to turn the knob down, and that's it. We get rid of the flame. No flame, no fire. We're going to pull out the thermometer real quick, and me and Freddie have invented a patent-pending turkey pole. So watch, what we tend to do here is remove the Sam Adams beer, Sam Adams, and we're going to put our turkey pole into the hanger. You can do it by hand if you want to, then you run the risk of splatter and all that business there. So it's a two-man job. We're going to lift her up, and we're going to dunk it in nice and slow, but there's still some water on it, so you're going to put it in a little bit and feel it out as it goes in. Nice and slow. Viv, back yourself up a little bit there. Now you see it starts bubbling. If the bubbling starts coming up too much, you pull it out. But we're good. This bird's been laying out for about 20 minutes in the cold air, drying. Less water, less problems. Bring it all the way down, nice and slow. Let it do its bubbling. Once the bird hits down, we'll pull the hook out. Now, if there was a flame down there and this oil came over the top, it could catch it fire, and that's when you see all the explosions on the internet. We don't have that problem because we are semi-professionals. What I'm going to do now is grab my New York Jets lighter. Yes, I did say New York Jets. They are 8-2 right now, soon to be 9-2. December 6th, they will beat the Patriots. I said that yes in Foxborough, Rentham, Massachusetts. So we're going to go light this bad boy up, if I can, because the flame is far down there. All right, so we're back in business. There it is. Crank the flame back up, and you want to crank it up all the way, because that bird's 32 degrees and brought the temperature of this oil from 350 down to about, I'm going to guess, 250. So Frank, bring that camera in here. And yeah, I'm on the money. Well, a little bit less. The oil came down from 300. So what you do is crank the oil back up. You want to keep this bird at 350 through the whole cooking process. So I crank the oil up. Once it hits 350, I'm going to turn it back down and regulate it. Now, 3.5 minutes a pound is the optimum amount of time. So I'm going for 42 minutes on this bird. All right, we're at about the 24-minute mark, just about halfway through to cooking this bird. As you can see, we're at the 24-minute mark, about halfway through to cooking this bird. Now we're going to bring it over here to look at the temperature real quick. We're just a tad below 350. As you can see what the bird looks like, I'm going to pull it out. Still a little bit light. This bird should be black. Right there in the middle you see the butt that we dumped in later on. This should all be nice and crispy black when we're done. So we're going to do this about another 20 minutes for about 44 minutes total. And then we'll come back to the video again and show you what it looks like when it's all done. All right, so I'm checking the inside temperature of the bird right now running breast meat. I want to be at about 180. So right now it's coming in at 143, 145 and slowly climbing. I'm going to give it 5 more minutes. The estimate is 3.5 minutes a pound, but we can go a little bit heavier if we need to. Going back in the bag. Good. All right, so we got the temperature of the bird coming in right there around 180. Give it one more test deep in the bone here. Coming in about $1.82. So I'm going to pull her out. Pull out the probe. Make it out good. 100% done, to be honest with you. We'll bring it inside. We'll whack down here quick.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it darken when we've done it before.
It's all right.
Yeah, worst case scenario, if it's not done, hon, you can heat it after, but you gotta let
Light that up.
That looks good.
He is not happy.
Dripping. It's sizzling.
Look at that.
See
Juice
that?
is pouring out of that thing. That's nice.
All right, we're down to the finale. After many, many hours of preparation and 40 minutes in the oil, put a slice of this bird.
You turn that music down for a
Pure
second?
goodness.
It would be great if it
Nice,
was music.
juicy bird.
Juicy.
There it is. Deep fried goodness. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Or if you want traditional.